How's it going, YouTube family? Welcome back to another video in the trading lab. I am Diamond Hands Dave, and gonna do things a little differently this time. I'm not gonna have any music just because it can be too distracting and I can never get those settings edited properly. I haven't posted a video in a while. I haven't posted any shorts or any videos or anything, mostly because my trading journey has kind of been up and down. The past month has been very not good for me. Starting at the end of August till now, trading for me has just been very rough. And that's the reality as a day trader. You're going to have, good stretches. You're going to have really bad stretches. And you have to learn how to deal with both of those, right? So just some update about kind of what I've been doing and, my progress and everything. I'm not sure if you guys know, but I had 6 Apex accounts that I talked about previously on this channel. And I was able to take a payout from them. Unfortunately, in the middle of requesting my second payout, I blew all those accounts and ended up switching over to a live account. After I switched over to the live account, I blew that a few times, meaning like I took it from a high dollar amount, like 1,000, and blew it back down to a couple hundred, which is fine. I could still trade with it, but I essentially consider that blown. And then I have a fast track account, which I'm not really I'll trade, but I'm just gonna focus on consistency, focus on actually being profitable and trying not to swing for the fences. Some things that I've learned about myself through this past month, through this journey, is that I can trade. I've proven that to myself time and time again. I can trade. I know how to trade. I know a good setup when I see one. I can take it. I can be profitable. I can make money off of it. And yeah, so I can make money. That's not my issue. My issue is not making money. My issue is not with the setups. It's not with the system. My issue is me. My issue is keeping the money. That's where I run into failure. I'm very good at making it. I'm very bad at keeping it. And the reason why I'm bad at keeping it is because I overtrade. I am a habitual overtrader. Now, you might say, well, if you know a good setup when you see one, won't most of your setups not be good? Why are you taking them? Correct. I am taking them because I'm just trying to get another piece out of the market. That's what it boils down to for me, is I'm always trying to quickly grow my account when I don't need to be quick about it. In reality, there's no rush to trading, Luckily, I have a career that supports me and my family, so obviously trading is not my main source of income, or really it's not even a source of income at the moment. Yes, I have taken payouts that have benefited us, but they're not consistent, and so I cannot call trading as a income stream, at least not yet. If there's one thing that I can stop right now, if there's one thing that you could change about yourself or change about your trading, something that you could stop or start, whatever, I would 100% stop over trading. And did it really need to take me a year and a half to learn this lesson? Maybe I'm just hard-headed like that. I don't know. I hope I have learned this lesson. I feel like I continually learn this lesson of overtrading, blowing accounts, and then starting over, and then maybe being consistent for a little while, taking a one and done, and then going back into bad habits and overtrading again. Unfortunately, that's I guess that's human nature. It really is human nature. It's lack of discipline, lack of self-control. And I'll admit, I have a problem in that when it comes to trading. I have a problem with discipline and self-control when it comes to over trading. I guess the biggest question right now is like, how do you remedy that? How do you resolve the problem of over trading? You know, how do you and really what over trading comes down to at its most basic psychological form, in my opinion, is essentially FOMO. It's the fear of missing out, number one, and it's greed. So there are a couple of things that are tied to overtrading. It's the fear of missing out, it's greed. Those are really the big driving points. You're afraid that you're going to miss the next big move. You're afraid that you're going to leave money on the table. And you're anxious to get your P&L up. You're dying to go from 0 to 100. Those are the basics, in my opinion. Can there be other factors for other people? Of course. I'm just saying, for me, these are the issues that I see with myself. And really, you really just have to hit rock bottom for you to really make a change. That's human nature. You know, things don't change unless something bad happens. That's the reality. Of course, taking a loss in that because we're making higher lows. So I'm getting back in on the reclaim of 58.11, making higher lows with higher highs. We short squeezed today very nicely. So really at this point, I'm trying to just hold a runner. I'm trying to hold a runner, not get chopped up too much. Although I have already gotten chopped up to the max. Let's just say that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much else. I mean, I think we tend to complicate over things, especially traders. If you're a new trader, we love to overcomplicate things. We love to, say that there's all this stuff, all these moving pieces, and, the stars have to align and all this stuff. And really it's just lack of accountability. It's a lack of not doing what you're supposed to do. For me, I enjoy trading. I enjoy the act of trading. I enjoy the act of placing orders. I enjoy the act of the strategy of, getting in with X amount of contracts and getting out. I love longing. I love shorting. I do really enjoy the process. Now, I don't know if that contributes to my issue of overtrading. I think another part of it for me is I get too excited. I get excited about trading, and I tend to just overdo it. So, that's definitely a problem that I foresee for myself, is that I do enjoy trading. I do find it exciting. I could be shooting myself in the foot by saying it's exhilarating, because if it's exhilarating, then I'm not doing myself any favors. Trading should not be exhilarating. If you're getting a thrill, as my mentor says, off of trading, then most likely you're gambling. You're not collecting the 1 to 2% gains per day that you should, And that's how you should look at it. It's 1 to 2% gains, every day, every week, or whatever, however you trade. It's supposed to be consistent growth. That's what it's supposed to be. If you're hitting it out of the park every single day, then there's going to come a day where maybe you don't even get steep drawdown. Maybe you're just down 1%, or you risked 2 or 3%, and then that gets you tilted. And then you take another trade to make up for that. And then you lose more, and then you take another trade to make up for that, and then you lose even more. So I do think it's good. It's like a fine line, right? Like, I do think it's amazing if you can be consistent. It's amazing if you can, take a dub 2, 3, 4, 5 days, weeks, months in a row. I think that's amazing. And there are some people who can do that, and kudos to them, because that's very impressive. But I do think that hurts you, because me personally, when I've experienced that, I've had a streak where I've had 2-3 weeks in a row where I've just nothing but wins, nothing but profitable trades. Oh, sorry, there's a rat. I've had like 2-3 weeks where I've had nothing but profitable trades, and there comes a time where, like, eventually that's gonna stop. Eventually you're gonna take a loss. It's inevitable. That's trading. You're going to take a loss. And then when you do take that loss, it just doesn't register for you, because you've been on a winning streak for the past however many weeks. And so when you do take a loss, it kind of throws you back a little bit, because you know what P&L you're at, how far you've come, kind of where you want to get to, and like you kind of also set these little goals for your P&L as well, which is, I have my opinions about that as well, which I don't think you should set P&L goals. That's just my opinion. I think if you're setting P&L goals, you're setting yourself up for failure. I'll explain why. If you're up $100 on the day, if you have really good discipline, you say, okay, I'm good with $100, I'm done for the day. And then you say, okay, my final balance is like $500. I started with 400, made 100, now I'm at 500. If you're on a winning streak, you can say, well, I'd like to get to 600. This is the internal dialogue you're probably having with yourself. I would like to get to 600. And that's a problem, because by you telling yourself, oh, I would like to get to 600, you're likely not going to wait for tomorrow. You're most likely going to try to take another trade. Or if you had a loss, so like, you had a consistent run for 3 weeks, nothing but wins, and then you set your sights on making an additional 100 to get to 600, because you're at, the 4 or the 500, and you take a loss. So you were at 500, now you're at like 450, or let's say even you're at 400. Now you tell yourself, well, shoot, not only do I have to make up that $50 loss or that $100 loss, but now I have to make that 100 that I wanted to get to 600. So now I have to make, 150 to 200, depending on how you're looking at it. And then so you take another trade to make up for that. And then that trade ends up being a loser. Why? Because you're not trading off your process. You're not trading off of your plan, most likely. You're just seeing something what makes you think is a setup, which is really not a setup. It's just whatever it is. And then you take it, and then you lose, and then you fall into this, this descending spiral of just, now you went from like profitable for a number of weeks to now like loss after loss after loss after loss. So what changed? What changed from like the weeks of consistency to now like a month of like just destitute and you're just losing everything? What changed? What was that chasm? What was that, that transition point? For me, it's a couple of things. It's being overconfident, number one. When you win for 3 weeks in a row, just human nature, you're going to get really confident. You may get really cocky for some people, for most people actually. You're going to get really cocky. And you're just going to expect to win. You're just going to expect that every trade that you take is going to be profitable. When the reality is, that's not what it is. This is trading is probabilities. That's what it comes down to. Trading is all probabilities. If you can think in probabilities, if you can function in probabilities, you're going to go a long way in trading. And what do I mean by probabilities? Meaning it means that whichever trade you take, you could take 10 trades in a row. Ideally, 50% are going to be winners, 50% are going to be losers in a perfect world. Of course, we're not in a perfect world. So you may have 8 out of the 10 that are losers and then 2 that are winners. You have to take a large enough sample size for it to actually see that 50% wins to losses. So if you think in probabilities, you tell yourself, okay, wow, I've been on a really consistent run of just dubs. This is not reality. I mean, it is reality, but I shouldn't get comfortable or used to this because this is not the norm. This is just how the probabilities played out. They played out to my favor, but I should expect that sooner or later, I'm going to have a loss. I'm going to have a loss, and I need to learn how to manage that loss. And that's the other thing. A lot of us are not very good at handling losses. Again, you have to get to a certain point where you're desensitized to losing. You're going to lose, but the more you let it affect you, the worse it's going to get. So you almost have to not let the losing affect you so much that it messes with your mental, because then your mind is not going to be right for trading. So you have to learn how to take losses. Like that book, The Best Loser Wins, I think, by Tom Hogarth. It's very true. You really have to be in a mental state of mind to where you're not kicking yourself after a loss or a string of losses or a month of losses, because that's how trading is. Like I said, trading is probabilistic. There are going to be strings of winners. There are going to be strings of losers. The key is to manage your losers well, meaning make sure your losses are small if you can. If you're wrong, try to recognize it early on. That's why you probably saw me take 30 trades right now. I didn't actually take 30 trades, but since I've been out here and talking to you guys, I've taken about 5 or 6 trades. Okay, and again, that's an issue for me of over trading, so I need to stop over trading. But I think I'm starting to come to realize that I don't think over trading is going to be a problem that I can fix now with how small my account is. I am going to need to take trades to build the account. And of course, more trading does not equal more profits. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, yes, I should be waiting on my setups. I should be taking the A+ trades, and I should be building my account as such, and not over trading and managing my risk. On a smaller account, though, you have to make a few tweaks, okay? If I do want to grow this account, and I would like to do it, in less than a few years, if we're being honest, because I can sit here and I can trade this account and I can make 1% per day. Most likely I can do that, barring any crazy issues or whatever the probabilities. Like, there's usually one trade per day that I can take that will give me at least 1% on my account, and I can call it a day. So I can do that. For me, though, because what my goals are, what I want, is to be able to trade with a little bit more size, to have a bigger account, trade with a little bit more size, and see more consistent growth over a smaller period of time. Yes, it probably sounds like I'm trying to get rich quick, which I'm really not, because this is not a game of get rich quick. This is a game of consistency. And really, this is a game about yourself. This is building yourself. Like, you may be trying to build an account, but what you're also doing is building yourself. You're building, like, your character, who you are, and, like, trying to dispel and, like, work on some of these negative characteristics that we harbor, like discipline and having self-control, or the lack of it. Trading helps with all that. And so, the other thing is, I could just trade a demo account. You know, I don't need to be trading a live account. I don't need to be trading, a prop account or whatever. I could go to demo and just work on my consistency, work on my, trading psychology and all that stuff. But for me, I need to have something on the line, because that's essentially the front lines. Like for me, the front lines is having a live account, having my money in that account, and being able to trade it consistently and profitably. Okay? That's how it is for me. So, and that's why I made this video. I made this video really as well to make myself accountable to myself. To give you guys an update too, of course, because it's been a while. But really all this is just documenting my journey, documenting my mindset, documenting on how far I've come, how much more I have to go, and believe me, it's a lot. Don't ever tell yourself like, oh, profitability is right around the corner, because that's an illusion. Like there's no like click, it's not gonna, you're not just gonna wake up one day and then all of a sudden it clicks with you and you're gonna be an amazing trader and you're gonna be profitable and consistent and you're gonna grow your account by hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight. That's not how it works. I can tell you that it's a journey, and it's not an overnight thing, for sure. I will tell you that right now. It is not an overnight thing. But you will notice, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, if you're journaling, if you're reflecting on your trades, if you're reflecting on your journal, and you're putting things in place to become better, I think you will notice over time that you have progressed, that you have made progression across your journey. Earlier today, I was reading through my journal and I was looking at my previous trades, and I can already see progress from when I first started the journal last year, like the beginning of this year, till May of this year. Huge progress. I went from, I'm still over trading. That's the common thing that I'm noticing. I'm noticing that I just take way too many trades, and some of those trades are over leveraged. So for me, not only am I over trading, but I'm over leveraging some of those trades, and that's what's ultimately like killing me. That's what's destroying my accounts. That's what's blowing me up over and over again. If I could turn it off, absolutely I would right now. And I think for me, it's, I don't know if it's a mental barrier or a fear or whatnot, but for me, it's like having to actually trade less does not excite me. I don't know if that's valid to say, but I'm trying to verbalize how I feel about the situation. I don't like over trading, simply because of how it makes me feel and because of the results that I get. That's black and white. You overtrade, you're going to get negative results, you're going to feel bad. Okay? So that's the elephant in the room. So how do you fix that? Like we said, you stop overtrading. And that's way easier said than done. Way easier. Because, and for me, trading is not an addiction. For me, again, I'm very passionate about it. And I think this is where most of my problems are stemming from. When I get really passionate about something, I tend to go all in, like 150%. And for most things, that's great. For most things, it works, right? For trading, you can only do that with like journaling, with charting, with reading and learning about the market and different strategies. It does not work by actually putting on more trades. That's the only thing that I've come across where doing more of actually hurts you, and being, proactive as far as trading actually hurts you. if you're like front running setups because proactively want to, catch it, that'll hurt you. That position could reverse on you. You could be done, right? So when I say like doing more, like I went in 150%, I went in on the education side of it. I will both. I went on the education side and on the trading side. I tried to learn as much as I could learn from YouTube and reading books and watching videos and listening to other traders and all this stuff. And a lot of it, and honestly, most of it is helpful. There's a lot of free content on YouTube that you could use to actually how to learn trading and to learn different strategies. That's not the issue. The issue is yourself. It's me. It's actually the person who's putting on those trades. That is the issue. If I can give him a name, maybe I'd call him Trader Dave, or I guess Diamond Hands Dave. That is the person that you need to sit with and have a discussion with, because that is the person ultimately that's going to lead you to success or to lead you to failure. I can say whatever I want to say. I can do whatever I want to do, like before the market opens or before I put on a trade. I can have a set list, like a checklist of all the things I'm supposed to do, to look for a trade while I'm in a trade, how to get out of trade, yada, yada, yada. I could do all that stuff. And I have done it, and I am doing it. I can set very specific parameters for how I should get in, how I should get out. I could do all these things. I could write notes and have, like a list of goals, or I could write it down on, a whiteboard, or have it on my phone. That's all well and fine. That's all good stuff. That's great stuff. And that hopefully will lead you to doing what you're supposed to do. But ultimately, it comes down to the person that's in front of the screen. Once you get in front of the screen and you actually put on a trade, some of us can become a completely different person. I know I hate to admit it, but I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people where I can write down exactly what I need to do. I can have on my phone like all the steps that I need to take to just take my trade, take the setup and get out, to stop over trading, to stop over leveraging, to do all this stuff, risk 1%, yada yada, all this stuff. I could have all that criteria written down and ingrained in my head. But the second I step like in front of the screen and I put on a trade, that person that had all the goals, that knew exactly what to do and has a checklist, that person's gone. Okay? And who are you left with? I hate to say this, but you're left with like a degenerate. That's okay. He doesn't start out as a degenerate, but it eventually gets there when things take a turn for the worst or for the best. Even I have had green trades that I've turned red because I added in too much, or I got too aggressive, So it's not even like having a set plan for what you need to do. It's controlling and being aware of yourself when you're actually trading, when you're actually putting on that trade. Do you have the gumption that it takes? Do you have the restraint that it takes when you put on a trade to only go in with one contract? To maybe wait till the market hits your entry and not try to chase the market? Because that happens a lot. Like the market will be rallying, and for fear of missing out, you're chasing the market. You may not get in at a market order. Maybe you're just like chasing the limit order up, or maybe you do get in as a market order. Whatever the case is, and again, all this stuff is easier said than done because I'm saying it after the fact. But you need to take a step back and you need to think about what you're actually doing. And I'm speaking to myself. You guys feel free to listen, but mostly I'm talking to myself because I am the one that needs to hear this. I am the one that needs to improve upon this because these are issues that I have. And I can help somebody with what I'm saying, then great. If it helps to change, some of your trading habits, then I've done my job. But for me personally, I have not done anything unless I change this person right here. If I cannot change, what I do when I'm actually in a trade, then I may as well quit. And I know that's what I titled this video, but that's what it comes down to. I'm essentially rambling. It's been 30 minutes. But like I said, I'm making this video to document my journey, to document like the live, raw feelings, my mindset, where I am. Yeah. Because it's hard. Trading is hard, man. Like, physically, it's not draining at all. Physically, yeah, like, depending on, like, if you're sitting down for long periods of time or whatnot, but it's not physically draining. It's literally all mental. And you'll hear a lot of people saying, like, oh, it's the strategy, oh, it's this, oh, it's whatnot. No, it's you. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to you. Most strategies work, okay? I'll give you that as a little secret. Most strategies work if you give them enough time and you give them, and you trade them the way they're supposed to be traded. If you follow a system to a T and you give it enough time, it will work. The problem is not, heck, you could chat GPT a strategy, trade it for, a few weeks to a month, and you can potentially be profitable. Why do I say potentially? Because it's not the strategy. It's how you manage yourself. It's how you manage yourself as a trader. It's how you manage yourself as a person. It's how you manage yourself whether you're up, whether you're down, or you break even. It really comes down to how do you manage yourself. That's what it comes down to. Clearly, because the existence of this video, I have not been managing myself very well the past month and a half. Okay, that's something I need to work on, and I'm aware of that. That's why I made this video. And honestly, I made this video because I'm sick and tired of doing what I'm doing. I can be profitable. I can be consistent. I can be all the things that I tell myself I am and can be before I start trading or before I put a trade on. But the second I put that trade on, it's game over, man. It's like once the trading day starts, I'm not keeping track of how many trades I take at that point. I can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There have been days literally I've taken like 10, 11 trades, and I don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You just need to take a piece out of the markets that corresponds to your edge. Once you've taken that piece, you sit on the sidelines. Like, there's no reason to do anything else. So like I said, we're trading the London session, and we are making higher lows. We had a late day squeeze today off of that 57.77 support area. And that was a nice failed breakdown today. I did take that failed breakdown. But of course, again, there are multiple good trades that I took today. I'm talking about multiple, like A+, grade A, like could not have asked for anything better. And the problem is, the funny thing is, I took multiple profitable trades, multiple profitable setups / trades, and I'm still down. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. That should not make sense. And the reason is because in between those profitable trades, I took 3 or 4 other unnecessary trades that I most likely front ran. I could tell you for sure I front ran a lot of them. The short, because like I said, I don't know if I said this, but I've had a short bias this past week. This past week. I've had a massive short bias this past week because we've been stuck in a range. All the levels in this range have been tested, so they're really weak, and they're not under any obligation to hold. And we have not had a decent pullback in quite some time. And so this pullback, or this correction, or the flush, or the red day essentially, could happen at any time. That's usually how it is with ES. These sells happen out of the blue. They can, just rug pull and happen out of nowhere. So that's kind of why I've also had a short bias. It's like I'm waiting for that flush. But again, if you're waiting for it, it's not going to happen. It's going to come at the time you least expect it. So that's why it's very important to trade what you see, not what you think, not what your bias is. You don't trade your bias. You trade what you see, okay? I said I have a short bias. Again, because of everything that I just told you. We're waiting for the flush. We're waiting for the sell-off. Everybody and their mom is waiting for the sell and the flush. But in reality, you shouldn't be. Yes, you can react when it shows up, and that's also key when it comes to trading. Trading is not about, and I've said a couple of key things here that I really need to marinate on and I need to meditate on. Most of my trades, even some of the profitable ones this past month and a half, have been anticipatory, meaning I haven't reacted to it, meaning I have gone in hoping that it does what I want it to do. So I essentially front run the setup, or I front run my trades. And that's not a good thing. That's not something I should be doing. And that's part of where the overtrading comes in. I overtrade. Most of my overtrading trades are trades where I front run a setup, or I get in too early because I think something's going to happen. You should never do that. You should never get into a trade because you think something's going to happen. Like I said a second ago, I have a short bias. And as you guys saw, I was literally short 10 or 20 minutes ago, and I flipped long. Why? Because I reacted. Yes, I took a loss. Took, I don't know, a $20 loss. It doesn't even matter anymore. See, you have to get desensitized to the losses. I don't even know how much I lost. I lost what I lost. But what made me flip long? Because I reacted. I may have had a short bias, and I was short because we had a little liquidity sweep below 58.11, but then we reclaimed it. We got that liquidity sweep, and we reclaimed 58.11. The second we reclaimed 58.11, what did I do? I flipped. Why? Because I had to. It's not because I wanted to. And I think that's a key thing that a lot of people should pay attention to. Are you taking a trade because you want to, or because you have to because your setup presents and you have confirmation? That's another thing. You have to react. You cannot be proactive. Like I said, trading is different than a lot of things I've done personally, and I'm sure what a lot of people have done. This is not something you can be proactive at. You cannot be proactive in a trade. You cannot front run a trade. You just have to wait. At least if you're a retail trader, you have to wait. You have to wait for confirmation, and then you get in after the fact. Why? Because if you get in before, there's a possibility, not a possibility, there is a probability that it will not go the way you anticipate it to. Okay? There's a million things that price can do. And it doesn't have to be just going up, going down, or going sideways. There's a million things. Like I said, we complicate things, but then we simplify things. We complicate the stuff that doesn't need to be complicated, and then we simplify the things that shouldn't be simplified. For example, we complicate, trying to stop overtrading, trying to stop oversizing. It's simple. Just wait for your setup and react. Don't front run. Don't anticipate. Just react. If it's there, and you take it. If it's not there, then it's not there, and you do nothing. So that's one thing, me personally, that I tend to complicate. That's very simple. The flip side to that, what's simple that is more complex, is price movement. Price does not just go up in a straight line. except for those rare mode 1 days like we had today. You see, like this short, like this flush this afternoon right here. Yeah, this flush, that's mode 1. That's essentially straight line. Okay, but that's not often. That doesn't happen often. That's rare. That is a rare thing that price does. Okay, and the key is to be on board when it does happen. Okay, you want to be prepared for when that happens. That's why how I trade and how my mentor teaches me is you should, when you get in, you should, get in, let price hit your take profit, and then leave a runner. Why do you leave a runner? Because that runner is what gives you the exposure if price is going to continue to trend. Okay, so that is an oversimplification of when we simplify price movement, because price can do 1,000 different things, and most likely will do 1,000 different things before doing what you ultimately want it to do. Price has the ability to take a convoluted path to wherever target you have, and it most likely will. If you want to take a long from this level to this level, most likely it's going to trap, it's going to trade sideways, it's going to trap again, it may break down, it may go up a little bit and then come back down, but then it's going to do 1,000 things before it actually hits your target. Why? Because that's how the market hunts for liquidity. The market hunts for orders to continue to move. That's how price moves. It's trying to facilitate trade. So we oversimplify price movement. Oh, price can either go up, go down, or go sideways. No, it can come down, failed breakdown, reclaim, come back down again, failed breakdown, the original failed breakdown, come back up, reclaim, maybe squeeze a little bit, reject, come back down, consolidate, flag, come back down, reject. So that's one thing we tend to really overcomplicate. We really oversimplify. We oversimplify price movement, and we overcomplicate what we need to do as traders. I've talked a lot. And it's almost time for London. We are 8 minutes shy of the London Open. I just want to see what's going to happen. I'm going to move my stop below this low right here. So see, I have a process. My process is I have a setup, and I get in when the setup occurs. Technically, it's not my set, it's not part of the plan, but it still fits within my criteria of a setup. Although it's lower quality, it's still there. So again, I'm going to take it. And being that I have a small account, I should be taking each time my setup presents. That's how the probabilities work. The more times you see each time you see your setup, you should be taking that trade. Each time you get confirmation when your setup is present, you should be taking that trade. Why? Because there's going to be a handful that work out well, and there's going to be a handful that don't work out at all. Okay? But you have to be on board for each time the setup presents. And if it doesn't go your way, you need to have a way on mitigating your risk for that. So whether it's, and you don't even have to wait till your stop hits. Like for me, sometimes, especially now because of me having a small account at this point, which I did to myself, I'll get out before my stop hits. Way before my stop hits. Why? My stop is just there in case some crazy volatility happens and it gets hit. And at that point, that's just unfortunate because at that point, my account is essentially liquidated. But I'll get in I'll most likely, if price is not going my way, I'm going to get out way before my stop hits to mitigate my risk, to limit the amount of money that I have to lose because that setup didn't work. Even though it was a valid setup, I got my confirmation, it was a valid setup, and I took it, I still have to limit the risk and get out while I can, so I can spare what I have. Yeah, at this point in my journey, I really have to, I have to make a change. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. Like, I have to make a change. Because if I don't, then I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is not sustainable. Like, it's not sustainable mentally, and monetary, of course. So I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try to take a one and done each day as my setup presents. I'm gonna take one micro. It's gonna suck because I'm not gonna be able to leave a runner, but that's the price you pay for over trading. That's the price you pay for not following your rules. So I did it to myself. I hate that it's negative reinforcement, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. If this is what it takes for me to stop over trading and to stop over leveraging, then I'm gonna take it. As long as I have a little bit more than $50 in my account, I can still trade. So here's to that. So the plan will be, wait for the failed breakdown setups, or take shorts if they present. If a breakdown short setup presents, I could do that. One micro, level to level, and then call it a day. And that's just it. That's just how it's gonna have to be for the next however long I can get my account back above $1,000, or to like where I was today. So it sucks, but you have to learn from your wrong actions, or you have to learn from your actions, and you have to deal with the consequences. That's what trading is. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Physics. And I'm hoping, after this, rigorous time of, just taking a one and done, because at this point I'm forced. Like, I can't overtrade even if I wanted to at this point, because the account's so small that, I literally can't do anything. Like, I can only take one contract, one micro, level to level, and then I'm done, So interesting. We kind of have made a lower high, but we still have not flushed that previous liquidity grab at, where is it at? 5807. So the low of that liquidity grab was 5807. If we flush that, then I will be getting out of this trade. And once I'm out of this trade, I won't be taking any other trades for the night. I've already taken well above the number that I should be. Alright, got 2 minutes till the London Open. We can see how this plays out. All right, we're at midnight. London is officially open. And we are... Looks like we're... Looks like we're trying to head lower. 11 has probed below a little bit. Alright, I think... I may get out of this trade. It looks like it's trying to probe lower. It may try to run that low. If we break below... oh well. Ah. Auto-liquidated. Alright guys. That's it for me. Have a good night.